They tell you building wealth takes a lifetime. But Finn is here to prove you can start from zero. Today, in just 10 minutes, we're taking you inside the real raw process of Finn from zero and the steps he's taking right now to change everything.
His manager said two words that Finn had never heard directed at him in a professional context before. Pay rise. There would be a formal review. The number was not decided yet, but the intention was clear. The company valued what Finn was contributing and wanted to reflect that in his compensation. Finn said thank you. He said he appreciated it. He said all the correct things in the correct order. What he did not say, what he had never once considered saying in a professional setting, was a number of his own. He left the meeting having agreed to wait for their offer. On the walk back to his desk, he wondered if that had been a mistake. The meeting had lasted 11 minutes. Finn had been called in on a Wednesday afternoon with no prior context. Beyond a calendar invite titled Quick Catch Up, which, in his experience, could mean almost anything from genuine praise to quiet concern. He had spent the morning mildly anxious about which one it was. It was neither. It was better. His manager had been clear and warm about it. Finn had grown into the role faster than expected. His contributions to a recent project had been noticed beyond his immediate team. A compensation review was happening across the department and Finn would be included. They would come back to him with a number within 2 weeks. Finn had thanked her. He had meant it. And then he had walked out of the room and back to his desk and sat there for a moment feeling something that took him a minute to identify. Unprepared. He had been thinking about money intensively for 3 months. He had tracked his spending. He had built a budget. He had confronted his debt. He had read his payslip. He had calculated his net worth. He had spent 2 weeks deliberately consuming financial content and building the vocabulary to understand his own financial life. And yet the idea that he might have a voice in what he was paid, that compensation was not simply something that happened to him but something he could participate in, had genuinely not occurred to him until he was walking away from the room where it might have mattered. He texted Jordan that evening. I might be getting a pay rise. Jordan replied immediately. Just take whatever they offer, mate. Free money. Finn stared at those words for a long time. Free money. That was how Jordan had described it. And Finn understood the impulse behind the phrase. Whatever the company offered would be more than he currently earned. More was better than less. Gratitude felt like the appropriate response. Negotiating felt, and here was the word that sat uncomfortably in Finn's mind when he examined it honestly, it felt presumptuous. Like asking for something he had not quite earned the right to ask for. He had heard this feeling described somewhere in the financial content he had been consuming. It had a name. Salary negotiation anxiety. The specific discomfort of believing that your current compensation is what you are worth rather than what was agreed at a particular moment under particular circumstances, and that asking for more risks the goodwill of the person with the power to give it. Finn spent that evening looking into it properly. Not because he had decided to negotiate, because the podcasts he had been listening to had taught him that uninformed decisions made from anxiety were almost always worse than informed decisions made with knowledge, and this was too significant to decide from anxiety alone. What he found shifted his thinking considerably. The first thing he learned was that salary negotiation is standard professional practice. It is not aggressive. It is not presumptuous. It is not ungrateful. Employers, particularly in professional environments, expect it. The initial offer in most compensation conversations is positioned with negotiation in mind. A candidate or employee who accepts the first number without discussion is, in most cases, leaving money on the table that was available to them. The second thing he learned was about the compounding effect of salary. This was the idea that stopped him mid-thought and made him reach for his notebook. A salary is not a one-time payment. It is a recurring figure that compounds over the entire length of a career. The difference between accepting an initial offer and successfully negotiating even a modest increase does not affect only this month's take-home pay. It affects every month's take-home pay for as long as Finn stays in his current role, and it affects the baseline from which every future raise, in this job or any other, will be calculated. He did the math. If the company offered a 3% increase on his current salary, and Finn accepted without discussion, he would receive a real but modest improvement in his monthly take-home. Meaningful. Better than nothing. If Finn researched the market rate for someone with his role, his experience, and his recent contributions, and made a calm, evidenced case for a figure 5 or 6% above his current salary, and succeeded, the difference in monthly take-home pay would be meaningful. Now and compounding forward indefinitely. Over a full year, the gap between those two outcomes was significant. Over 5 years, it was very significant indeed. This was not free money. This was his money, money already justified by the work he had been doing and the value his manager had explicitly confirmed. The only question was whether he was going to ask for what the evidence suggested he was worth, or accept whatever number arrived. Because asking felt uncomfortable, Finn spent the following week researching. He looked at salary data for marketing coordinators with comparable experience in comparable organizations. He identified a range, not a single number, a range, that felt evidenced and reasonable. He thought about how to present it, calmly and professionally. He practiced what he would say in the mirror, which felt absurd, and then practiced it again. When the follow-up meeting arrived and his manager presented a number, Finn listened carefully. He thanked her genuinely, and then, briefly, with one specific piece of salary data to support his position. He made a counter. The conversation lasted 4 minutes. The final number was not everything he had asked for. It was between what they had offered and what he had requested. And when Finn did the maths that evening, the difference between that number and the original offer, annualized, projected forward just 3 years, was more than the total credit card debt he had been working to eliminate for months. He sat with that for a long time. Then he opened his budget and updated the income line. Your salary is probably the most important financial variable in your life, and most people treat it as something that happens to them rather than something they participate in. Here is what I want you to take from this episode. The first lesson: salary negotiation is not aggression, it is participation. In most professional contexts, the first offer is made with negotiation expected. Accepting without discussion is not gratitude. It is leaving available money unclaimed. Research your market rate. Know what people in comparable roles with comparable experience are earning. Come to the conversation informed rather than grateful and passive. The second lesson: understand the compounding effect of salary. The difference between this year's offer and a successfully negotiated figure is not just this month's difference. It is every month's difference for every year you remain in this role. It is the baseline from which future raises are calculated. A modest, successful negotiation today is worth significantly more than its face value over a career. The third lesson is the one Finn learned in that 4-minute conversation. Discomfort is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. Asking for what the evidence says you are worth will feel uncomfortable. It does not matter. Do it anyway. The discomfort lasts minutes. The outcome lasts years. Know your worth. Then say the number. The content in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. Finn updated his budget with the new income figure. The numbers look different. Not dramatically, but meaningfully. For the first time since episode 1, the gap between what came in and what went out had real breathing room. He sat looking at it for a long time. And then he thought about something he had never seriously considered before. What if he actually used that gap for something Episode 11 is where Finn learns what to do when there is finally something left over.